How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another standard video here with me, Anoint, playing the deck that 5 of my teammates have chosen for the World Championship. Seth Manfield constructed this little beauty here, Golgari ramp, and also made top 8 with the deck. The others in my team didn't have as much success with the deck. To be fair, the sample size is somewhat small at the World Championship. You won't get any free victories, and the deck did show promising results in our testing. What was the idea behind it? So we identified, for example, Glissa Sunslayer as one of the strongest creatures in Standard, expecting Gruul Prowess as the most prominent deck at the World Championship, which it did turn out to be, and Glissa Sunslayer is an absolute house against that deck, basically brickwalling them game 1, where their only removal usually is Shock, and if you have a first strike Death Touch out on the battlefield attacking on the ground, which, you know, that deck does as the way to win, doesn't work so well against the Glissa in play. Also very nice against Urabras Forge, which continuously makes tokens post-board, and Glissa just blocks the tokens and doesn't care, or even attacks and removes counters, the oil counters from the Urabras Forge. So that was one of the reasons to go with green. We of course all know how great black is as an interactive color. We have fantastic removal in black, Sheoldred, sweepers, what have you. And then Seth came up with the idea of pairing Up the Beanstalk and Overlord with this great black interaction suit. We did test Domain Ramp, but ultimately came to the conclusion that Domain, just a bit of an awkward mana base, clunkiness, the temporary lockdown is great against Gruul, but the rest of the removal isn't great against other threats in the format. The white removal just doesn't pack as much of a punch as the black one does, not as much flexibility. For example, this Beanstalk deck here in front of me is pretty decent against Dimir midrange, where Domain Ramp, I think, has a really hard time against something like Dimir midrange, and that really comes down to the cheap black removal being good, and the white removal being less good, less flexible, and just somewhat awkward. Yeah, that is the deck. We have 3 Duress. Yeah, we saw Dimir Demons, 4 Duress by Javi Dominguez in the main deck even. Duress just, against most decks, hits something, and no surprises there. I personally didn't put as much work into this deck, so I'm sort of like telling you all of this not out of first-hand experience, but second-hand experience. Of course, I saw my teammates discussing it and playing against it and playtesting with it and so on and so on. But yeah, it was very, very late in testing that Seth came up with this idea. But yeah, because, I mean, the idea behind it is to beat up on Gruul, which I think it does reasonably well. And then the secondary plan, or the secondary main reason why you would want to play this deck, is that it should have a good matchup against the other black midrange decks, because it goes a little bit over the top. So Golgari midrange, for example, or the Demons deck that, you know, we didn't find in testing the Demons version with Doomsday Excruciator and Jace. That is troublesome, but like a mono black Demons list, or a Demons list splashing for green, or the Demons list by Half Farm that also made top 8 at the World Championship, which was playing an Unstoppable Slasher and Bloodlet of Aclazotz instead of having like this Jace Doomsday Excruciator package. I think all of those should be reasonable to favorable matchups for this deck, or at least that was the idea behind it. Again, didn't really play out that well for 4 of my 5 teammates. Just Seth, who's just an inhumane machine, who made it all the way to the semifinals with this archetype. But hey, nonetheless, this is a new brew. This is something unexpected, which is always cool, and of course gives you another reason to play it. People won't have practiced against it if it's not an established archetype, so that's always nice for a bigger tournament. What else is there to talk about? Pillage the Bog as a one-off to, yeah, just tutor something up in the late game is kind of neat. We have 2 Sheoldred as well. They're basically there to turn the corner around quicker against something like Oculus, or also great, of course, against Gruul Prowess. Tear Asunder, excellent removal against Dimir midrange. Not so great against the the Manifold Mouse and Emberheart Challenger stuff, but pretty good all around. Hits Unholy Annex on turn 3 if you're on the draw, and it's just, you know, for 4 mana you can kick it and kill everything, anything you want, so that is pretty nice. Free Anoint, identifying that Anoint very strong in the meta game with lots of creatures that you really want to exile, like Heartfire Hero, Unstoppable Slasher, and what have you. Then some 5-drops. There was a lot of discussion about this. I think some of the Jim Davis, I believe, had like 3 copies of Deadly Cover Up and didn't play the Gix's Command or something like that. But yeah, just an array of powerful 5-mana plays to catch you back up. Deadly Cover Up being very important against Domain Ramp specifically, where it can Surgical, Herd Migration, Atraxa, and basically run them out of threats. That's also where the 1 copy of Outrageous Robbery comes in against these other slow decks, against mono white tokens. At some point you will find this and just cash it in for a lot of cards. Same goes against Domain Ramp, of course. Really excellent card. Also great in the mirror match if you run into that, and not too shabby against any like black mid-range deck, because, you know, you can definitely drag out the game with all the cheap removal, and then a Robbery for like X=5 against Golgari mid-range is usually game over. 2 copies of Virtual Persistence, another cheap removal spell that doubles up as a card to trigger Up the Beanstalk and to also win the game with. If this sticks, you're usually gonna win. Sure, it costs 7 mana, but hey, it gives you something. It's sort of like the perfect middle ground for this type of deck. Mana base, 2 Demolition Field, 2 Fountainport, 1 Sunken Citadel, Restless Cottage, of course. So the mana base being 2 colors gives you some advantages over something like Domain Ramp, which really cannot utilize the mana very well because they have to fully commit to making their colors work and getting Domain online as quickly as possible. So here you have the option to play Fountainport and Demolition Field, which are both excellent in the format. Fountainport can sacrifice everywhere tokens, which is kind of neat. If you have an Overlord going, you can just cash in your lands at some point. And Demolition Field, just, you know, and it's so many manlands are running around opposing Fountainports that you really want to deal with, because Fountainport is one a little bit annoying card for this deck, because yeah, you can kill everything, but you can't kill the Fountainport. So having 2 Demolition Field to shut off any fish producing in a drawn out game is quite nice. Sideboard, we're looking at the full set of Cutdown, of course, 2 more copies here, the 4th Duress, a Ghost Vacuum. Yeah, makes sense to play at least one of them. If you play it, you can play 2, but the first copy is certainly very valuable. The second copy, if drawn, not so great, but here we have the first. We have Cruelclaw's Heist as another discard spell, very good in the slow matchups. Deep-Cavern Bat, that is sort of, I think only Seth Manfield ended up registering it, although I'm not quite sure about that. Yeah, it's just another flexible card that can come in against Gruul, but also come in against the slower decks. We have the Nissa, great against slow decks, another Tear Asunder, flexible card, good against Curiosity, Unholy Annex again, and Mono White Domain, and so on and so on. 1 copy of Blot Out to kill something problematic, like Kaya, the 7-mana Planeswalker. Nobody ended up playing that one, but going into the World Championship, we didn't really know how the metagame would shape up. Mono White splashing black or blue was a pretty popular deck on like in the standard challenges on Magic Online the weeks prior, so we assumed there would be more of it. In the end, it turned out there was only a few players playing mono white decks, but yeah, Blot Out does deal with that, and it's just a reasonable card against even something like Enduring Curiosity, of course. Tranquil Frillback, 1 copy, kind of flexible, more disenchant effects, quite nice against Urabra's Forge and Innkeeper's Talent out of Gruul. 1 copy of The End. I was not a big fan of this inclusion. It's quite good against Enduring Curiosity. And it's also good, I suppose, against like Oculus stuff. Can also be nice against Atraxa, of course, out of Domain. I was suggesting to my teammates that they should just play the 4th copy of Tear Asunder, because I think the upside of having a 2-mana Disenchant Exile at instant speed is just so much better than the sort of like vague upside of The End exiling a creature for good. Turns out that Seth did top deck The End against Kaiboda in game number 4, and crucially got to exile all Enduring Curiosities. So really did pay off for him. But yeah, I personally think that just the flexibility of playing Tear Asunder is better in the end. 2 copies of Aclazotz on the sideboard. They come in, of course, against black mid-range decks and also against aggro. Breach the Multiverse is another Haymaker, and also the Outrageous Robbery, another Haymaker card to go, yeah, to play to sort of go toe-to-toe with Domain Ramp, Mono White Tokens, those type of decks where you just try to outpower each other, right? And yeah, especially if there are no counterspells in play. Both Breach and Outrageous Robbery are pretty dangerous cards in the late game, and good payoffs to ramp into. That is Golgari Ramp. That is my little introduction on the deck. Yeah, let's play some games with it, shall we? On the draw here. Cheap removal, 2 Beanstalks, seems fine to me. Fixes command for later. Restless Reef. Yeah, lots of Restless Reef around. Demir Demons, Demir Midrange, of course. Altogether made like almost 30... no, actually, I think like 25% of the metagame at Worlds. And yeah, I mean, I do believe that Demir Midrange is the best deck in the format as of right now. So maybe others think so as well. Alright, here we have a little bit of a tricky spot. Fairy Mastermind, of course, is a card we have to respect. Looks like they don't have it. I did the arena trick there of passing priority. They didn't have a stop. Yeah, that makes me want to play the Beanstalk. I think in the World Championship or in any normal tournament, I would have just passed the turn there, let them play the Fairy, kill it end of turn, then play up the Beanstalk. But yeah, on arena you can play a little tricky, and you can... There's a Preacher, alright. Let's play around that. Okay, so I can play a tap land plus Anoint, or I play Duress. Next turn, how's my next turn looking? Kinda wanna have two drops up. I think I'm just gonna go Anoint and Cottage. So I can go Beanstalk Virtue if I want to. Or I can go Beanstalk, Tear Asunder the Curiosity that they will flash in, potentially. Looks like they have a Spyglass. Yeah, and in this matchup you really just want to drag out the game as much as possible. Tear Asunder is your best card by far, because Curiosity is their best card. Plus Kaito. Kaito is also very strong. But Tear Asunder also deals with Kaito on at least for 4 mana, which is better than not being able to deal with it. But yeah, here you can see the absolute brutality that I'm gonna bring up on my opponent here by exiling the Curiosity for 2 mana. The stock on Tear Asunder should perhaps go up, with Demir Midrange being such a force. And there's the Kaito, alright. You could say that I should have maybe Duressed my opponent at some point, but that's alright. Unfortunately no land drop, but yeah, I won't waste any time here and get rid of this thing while I can. There we go. And maybe with the Duress I can clear the way of go for the throw type cards to make the way for this Sheoldred. One just concedes. Wow. They must have not had much going on. I guess they were sitting on like a bunch of cutdowns and Anoint Afflictions, I would assume. Alright, I'll take that. This is actually my first time playing Golgari Ramp myself. During testing, I was always the opponent for the deck, not playing it myself. So let's figure this out, I guess. We'll bring in Blot Out at the end. We'll bring in Tear Asunder. What else? Cutdown is pretty good. Not the biggest fan of Duress. I mean, taking counterspells isn't bad, but it's also not amazing. I think you can take out Pillage. I'm personally not the biggest fan of the creatures. Yeah, especially on the draw. I think Aclazotz is good though. Gix's Command, I don't love. Outrageous Robbery, I don't love. Vacuum is fine. Glissa is fine. I mean, they have to keep in some removal probably to respect the Glissa. It's a lot of kill spells that I have here now. I'm not sure exactly how many Duress I want to play. Probably 2 to 3 copies is fine. I could see putting Sheoldred or Glissa back. I think I might just play a Robbery. Just having one of that effect to sort of, when they maybe tap out at one point, grab some cards. I could see that being nice. Yeah, I think this is what I'm gonna do. There's an argument to be made to play Ghost Vacuum to be able to kill the Curiosity for good. I don't love that though. I think like we only really have Go for the Throat that it combines with. The Tear Asunder already exiles, Anoint, and Cut Down don't hit the Curiosity. So yeah, I don't know. And it doesn't seem as important because we do already have exiling removal. So you don't need to have the Vacuum to exile a Curiosity. So they could have Deep-Cavern Bat here, but it doesn't really change a thing, because if they go Bat, I have 2 cut downs, so I don't have to play around it by having mana open. The one issue that I sort of saw with this deck is that if it didn't draw Beanstalk early, it is sort of just a pile of removal, you know? It's like just a bunch of removal spells, barely any card advantage. Yeah, so that's what I didn't love about it, personally. And it was late in testing as well when they come up with it. And I had a deck that I was really loving, so there's just no reason for me to switch, to be honest. Looks like my opponent is low on lands. Both River and Fountainport somewhat indicate that. I wouldn't be surprised if they missed a land drop here. Maybe they have a Restless Reef. Oh, another Fountainport, another River. Alright. I think I'm just going to take this opportunity to blow up this Fountainport. If I pass the turn, they might have Tidebinder if I go for an end step, which would be pretty rough. Be aware of that interaction. You can counter the Demolition Field, basically stone raining you. And yeah, just killing the Fountainport right there and then means that if they pass the turn, they can't make the first fish. And really, any creature is kind of valuable in play for the Dimir midrange deck, because of course, Curiosity. Or even Kaito, I suppose. Alright, well. Opponent got no lands. Maybe sitting on counter spells, go for the throats. We don't know. I don't think I want to fully tap out for this right now. That seems that probably won't work out for me very well. It looks like my opponent doesn't have Tidebinder. I could just pass the turn. I could play this for 3 mana as well. That doesn't seem unreasonable to do so. I might actually slam this next turn. It's like I think this is the turn where they're gonna pass with Curiosity up. I drew a second one. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna cast this here for the full amount, because now if they want to use a counter spell, that's their entire turn. They can't deploy a Curiosity. Makes it a little bit more awkward on them. This is potentially problematic because this sort of indicates that they have a removal for the Overlord. No. Okay, this was just too easy, honestly. This was... What was that? So they were sitting... Like, what? What was their hand? They missed land drops. They didn't counter the Overlord. Okay, I mean... Whatever, let's just move on. It just weirdens me out. Like, what is your hand at that point? Huh? Like, if you don't have a hard removal for this, at least use a Phantom Interference or something, counter it, and then... Like, this is just weird. I don't know what's going on. Okay, let's just move on to the next game. Yeah, I can work with this. Again on the draw. Mountain, okay. Oh, that's actually interesting. I think that changes my play. I do want to curve into the Glissa here and to go for the throat, so I don't want to play tap land. Okay, we're playing against the Leyline version, I guess. Go for the throat. So what's gonna happen if I take the Might? Then they go maybe 2 creatures there, and then I can go for the throat to Scamp. Then they're left with the turn inside out. If I take the turn inside out, I can Might of the Meek. Make this a free 2. Because I have Glissa, this turn inside out doesn't look particularly good here. So I think I'm just gonna take the draw spell and deny them some velocity. Okay. I do want to go for the throat right now if I want to do it. Because turn inside out, of course, gives them some stuff. I think I'm just gonna kill the Scamp. And then we can play Glissa and that should do the trick, hopefully. That's at least what the Glissa is there for, to just solo this deck sometimes. Alright, they're going for damage. Alright, not bad. That's 5. 6 damage. Okay. He's trampled, so I can kill this. I mean, I could die. Okay, that's a pretty aggressive attack. So if I block the Scamp, they can kill my Glissa, essentially. They can kill my Glissa anyhow. Right, like, I can put the turn inside on the Scamp and then kill my Glissa. So I think I'm just gonna block here. If I do this, they can put it there. That deals me 7, puts me to 5, and then another 2. Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. And I thought I was fine this game. I guess I'm not really fine. So if I block here, they can 7 there. And then I take 8, go to 4, and then this is a 4/4. Which kills me next turn. So because I have to block it, then I think I just have to block here and hope they didn't draw a trick, essentially. If they drew a trick, I'm just dead, I guess. Yeah, maybe they did, you know? Good game, they say already. Am I missing something? Oh, I did miss something. Huh. Right. I die exactly. Not bad. Okay, well, I'm gonna put that on the jet lag because I'm still feeling it. I only slept 4 hours today, which is a little awkward. I woke up pretty early and couldn't fall asleep again. That was on the jet lag. That wasn't on me. Huh. So what am I supposed to do there? If I block the Scamp, I guess if I block the Scamp, I don't die, but I also don't win. You know what I mean? Like, but to be fair, at least I wouldn't die on board, which with the information I had. So that was pretty bad, not gonna lie. All right, fair enough. The red deck strikes again, as it does. So let's put in Duress, Deep-Cavern Bat. I guess Aclazotz. Take out. What do we take out? Beanstalk, Pillage the Bog, Robbery. Tear Asunder doesn't seem fantastic. Frillback's probably good. I think Tear Asunder's gonna go. Anything else? No. So we have to cut some expensive cards, I guess. Probably to cover up. This seems fine. Well, that was kind of brutal. That was just a turn 4 kill, even though I had Duress and go for the throat. That's pretty unreal, isn't it? They killed me turn 4 through 2 interaction pieces. Without a leyline. Yeah. Maybe we're all underestimating the red deck still. Maybe the red deck is just the best deck in the format. Yeah, you know, just sometimes it falls apart like a house of cards, right? And it doesn't do anything impressive. But other times it does impressive stuff. I'm a little scarred. I have the same decision again. I'm definitely not taking the torch. I took the might last time. I got punished. The free power spells are certainly more powerful. I don't know. I just feel like I hope I can play around a little bit better here, though. Like the Might of the Meek is a nice proactive play they can make. What's happening here? I mean, they have one unknown. I'm just gonna play Beanstalk, right? Maybe I should keep up the mana for Go for the Throat, just in case. What do I do now? What do I do now? Now I kinda wanna play Glissa, of course, but... if they find a way to kill Glissa somehow, that would be bad. But they only have one unknown at this point. I think it would be a little... I guess the problem of the Scamp is that the Scamp plus the turn inside out kills my Glissa no matter what I do. We didn't really test much against the Leyline version. We kind of dismissed it at some point during testing because it just felt to us way sort of more fragile, essentially. But yeah, the Scamp is surprisingly decent here against Glissa. While Glissa against the sort of Emberheart Challenger Manifold Mouse Innkeepers version is very strong. The Scamp does solve the Glissa issue quite nicely for the mono red deck. Oh, and a card that Seth is not playing that I was suggesting, and that some people actually registered as well in the team, is Malicious Eclipse, which I find is a really good card against the red-green type decks, but they did not end up registering it, or like Seth didn't end up registering it at all. I mean, it was a late discussion. Again, the deck, we found the deck very late in testing, so everything around was somewhat late. But yeah, I think it's a mistake to not play Malicious Eclipse, honestly. I'm just gonna kill this now. Don't tell me you have a snakeskin there. That would be pretty sick. Okay. Well, I'm out of gas over here. No blockers, just fish tokens I can make next turn. There's a Might. Like, there's just no punishment I have for my opponent playing out a bunch of dudes. No Malicious Eclipse. Yeah, I think this deck should have 2 Malicious Eclipse in the sideboard. Like, that's at least what I would do, personally speaking. Maybe I should do a fish there and block something. I mean, they have the torch anyways. But I don't even know if making a fish is good at all. I guess it is. Just need to draw something that gains me life, something that blows up the board, I guess. Deadly Cover Up would have been decent this game. I guess I'll do Res. Then I have Restless Cottage to block here, Chump block here, go to 1. Just kill that, so I can block here and die. Alright, GG. Yeah, there you go. Drew a lot of lands this game. The Beanstalks just were 2 mana cycle. There are some issues with this deck, let's just say. There are some slight issues. Beanstalk is not as powerful as you want it to be. It's not terrible either. Beanstalk can rarely be terrible, because it does cycle at the very least. But you know, that is kind of bad, to be fair, in a fast format where you can't allow yourself to do that sometimes. Although, yeah. Yeah, I feel like maybe I misplayed that game too. I could have go for it, throw the Scamp on turn 2, then play the Glissa. The whole Scamp interaction with the turn inside out, I probably could have played that game tighter. I mean, I'm no Seth Manfield. But yeah, if I just, both times where I do rest, if I just take the 3+0 trick, the Scamp essentially can't interact with the Glissa. Can't kill it, so that would have been better, I guess. So that is on me. But yeah, as I was saying, the Beanstalk isn't as spectacular in this deck. Although if you go Beanstalk into Overlord turn 3, that of course is very, very good. All right, enough talking. Let's play another match. All right, we're on the play. Let's go. All removal. You know, the nice thing about this deck is that the standard format we have right now is very, very creature heavy. We're playing against this deck. Well, Jace. Both cards are a problem. My opponent kept a pretty horrible hand against something like Cruel Prowess. But unfortunately, I am not playing Cruel Prowess, so I can't punish them for keeping this pretty slow hand. Honestly, almost egregiously bad hand, to be fair. Like, I don't think I would keep 5 lands, Jason, and Unholy Annex in the dark. That seems like a pretty bad idea, the more I think about it. But hey, opponent got paired into me on Golgari Ramp, so pretty solid hand, where cheap spot removal is not needed whatsoever. And now they have a Planeswalker out, and I'm sitting on a bunch of spot removal. Yeah. The deck is somewhat one-dimensional, isn't it? I do have 2 Tear Asunder, I guess, as answers for this chase. But that is about it. If I'm not missing something, but I don't think I am. And yeah, I assume this matchup isn't great. Oh, interesting, they didn't even attack. Why did they not attack? What am I missing here? Yeah, I'm gonna cut down, I guess. Yeah, this matchup is not great due to the fact that they have the Jace Doomsday combo, which Golgari just cannot attack with very well. Okay, they have 3 unknowns. I'm just gonna fire up this cottage. Screw it, if they have it, they have it. Maybe they just have cut downs and some, I don't know, spell stutters. I get to actually kill the Jace here. No? Sometimes you just have to go for it. To be fair, it's not like I had any other reasonable play there. Well, if they don't draw an Annex, I might be fine here. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So they deck first. But they do have Restless Reef. If I play Sheoldred and they have Restless Reef and a land and Spell Stutter, which we know they have 2 lands. We don't know about the Spell Stutter. Then they can counter my Anoint and kill me. So I think I'm just gonna pass. And crack a food and hopefully kill this Restless Reef. That's the idea, at least. The way I definitely die is if they do have the second Jace in the bottom 6. Or in their hand. Okay, a second Restless Reef is also problematic. That is something that is going to win them the game. If I don't draw an answer. They would have decked first, but this way they do not. I need to draw a Go for the Throat or an Anoint. I drew a cut down, which is actually enough. Because I have Harvester to shrink this into a 2/2. Alright. Opponent has 2 more attacks with the Doomsday. If they Duress me, that would be bad. Oh, they don't activate the Reef. Okay. I'm a bit surprised by that. Okay, they're going sort of a different route now. Yeah, that's actually kind of annoying. Okay, let me think about this. So if I go to 13 with the Virtue, I'm actually fine, right? I can't cover up. I lose to the Restless Reef. So I go Virtue. And then I can kill the Restless Reef, go to 1 life. I have to pray they don't have a ferry here. Alright, fair enough. Almost, almost. Down to 0 cards in library. Not quite good enough. Yeah. Opponent played this well, I guess. Not attacking with the Reef last turn. Sort of time-walked me. Touché, touché. A little bit of awkwardness with Virtue and Harvest of Misery being 2-mana removal spells that don't kill, like, Restless Reef. Yeah. No go for the throat. Now I'm taking exactly 14. Okay, fair enough. G to the G. Alright, this matchup. I don't want the Gix's Command, I don't want the Harvester. Virtue of Persistence seems pretty medium. It does kill Bronco and Fairy, I guess. So it's sort of similar to Anoint. Anoint does also kill the 6/6 demon token, though. Yeah. Not sure, I don't love it. Okay. Oh, no, sorry. I'll put in the Breach. I'll put in the Robbery. Put in the Tear Asunder. Blot Out, the end. Heist, Duress. And now I have to remove something. Sheoldred, Glissa, Anoint, Cut Down. I have some candidates. Deadly Cover Up is not necessarily good. I could play the Aclazotz, annoying sticky threat. Could play the Frillback. And then we're gonna play maybe the Glissa and all the Anoints. Yeah, might want to have some amount of cut downs, to be honest with you. Because I do want to respect the 2/1. Especially against my Beanstalks, it's quite good. Maybe I don't play the Frillback. What's the end good for anyways? I guess it does exile all the Jaces if they play them. Alright, this seems fine. Bit much high end maybe, but I'm on the play. I have 4 Duress to sort of have my way. Maybe I can resolve one of... And also Robbery is actually quite good against the Doomsday. So if they go Doomsday, you can just Robbery them, and then they deck themselves. This seems fine. They did keep on top, alright. I would love to draw a green here. Bronco, I have the answer, luckily. Alright, well, it's a play. They don't they go for the throat check. Ah, that's a bit better than go for the throat, actually. Yep, Liliana is good here. Quite good against my deck. Oof, this is rough. Yeah, I don't have too much luck with this Golgari deck either. I feel like we're just getting a little unlucky here and there. And that's how you lose in Magic the Gathering. Yep, there's the Annex, great. Annex is a hell of a card. Truly insane. Like at the beginning, when I realized it pretty quickly that the card was incredible, and I did try to work. I did work a lot on various demon archetypes, but I couldn't really convince myself in the end to play it because, you know, the demon mid-range deck was just too good, and it was quite good against the demons archetypes. Just the Aclazotz. Yeah, this game is slipping away. I think I have to go for this and hope to find an untapped green and then go Tear Asunder. Nope. I kind of want an untapped green again. Don't want a Demolition Field, though. They do have Restless Reef, I guess. Oh, fine, I'll keep it. I think my best hope is that they go for Demon here, I guess. Then I can go Lily, Tear Asunder, the Unholy Annex.
You won't be outsmarting me.
Yeah, I mean, guess I'll discard this. Okay, yeah. This is actually a pretty good outcome for me, because at least they didn't get the demon token. So like they had to spend an actual card from their hand instead of spending something that's already on the board. And now I can exile this. I would think that I'm still behind. I mean, I'm gonna discard my last card here. I just have a Lily in play, but I do have the Up the Beanstalk, so if I have some good top decks, I might be alright if I draw like an Aclazotz. Maybe they don't choose to Liliana Plus, which also would be great.
Knew this was a waste of time.
And they will. Okay, interesting. Huh. Well, I guess the move that I have to make here is this, though. There's no question about that. Exile the Lily. I do have Virtue of Persistence in my deck, so I have to be a little bit careful. I did exile like the Fairy Mastermind in the last game, but I should not have done that. Because I do have the Virtue in my deck. But I don't have it in my deck post-board, so now it doesn't really matter, I think. But it could matter, actually, because my opponent has Gix's Command, so now I'm supposed to exile the creatures. But I was not supposed to do that pre-board. Alright, there you go, the Fairy. One of the silent MVPs in Standard right now. Excellent card. But yeah, I've been kind of doing well for how this game started. I have an Overlord in play. Pillage the Bog is my last card. Am I winning one? There's an Annex. It's not good for me. In a late game situation like this one, I tend to like playing the 6/6 demon first if I can't do both. Because now I can just disenchant this and you've just drawn a card out of it if I have to disenchant. But if you make the demon, I sort of have to deal with the 6/6 obviously, and I have to then also disenchant the Annex at some point. So just a heads up there. That's something you maybe should do. Alright, anyhow, what are we doing here? I guess I will just attack for now. That's something I'm gonna do anyways. Then I'm gonna pillage, looking at 16 cards, and hopefully find something nice. Not even sure what I'm looking for exactly. I guess I would take another Overlord. Although that does draw my opponent a card as well. I mean, to be honest, all I just want is a disenchant. There is an Overlord and a disenchant, and that's really it. I do have the Fountainport engine going and 2 everywhere tokens. Yeah, I'm just gonna take the disenchant. I do have card advantage already. And now I have Demolition Field. I could blow up their Fountainport. I think I'm just gonna chill. I'm just gonna chill and Duress. Well, I'm gonna cast my spell, I guess. I was going to just sacrifice the food and draw a card there, but this plays. Might be winning a game here, huh? They did not play a land. They did not play a land. I wonder if I should activate the cottage. Probably should, honestly. The cottage making tokens as well is nice for the Fountainport. Let's see. I could use the Demolition Field to blow something up here, and then I still have enough mana. Like if I use the cottage mana here, still have enough mana to activate my Fountainport at least once. Like to draw a card. But I don't even know what I want to destroy here. Do I want to destroy the Fountainport? I guess. I don't know. I feel like if you have both Fountainport going, probably gonna be able to win, right? Like I have an Overlord in play. I have just way more tokens than my opponent, so I'm gonna draw like 2 cards per turn. Yeah. They're chump blocking me. I have way more mana. Like my Fountainport is a lot better than theirs. Man, I'm really feeling sort of tired right now. Turns out sleeping only 4.5 hours makes you tired at some point during the day. I'm gonna have a coffee soon. Okay, well, I have 37 cards in my library right now.
The weak-minded will be educated in Phyrexian's ways.
I could also make a fish if I wanted to. Alright. Interesting. They have 2 cards left. Now I have 18 cards in library. I think I'm gonna actually make a fish. Well, they can still cash it. I think I'm actually gonna draw a card. I feel like I have to really find a hard removal for this, because if I just attack with 1 power on... Oh, that is also good. That I also take. They could have Excruciator as their last card in hand. And then they would kill me with the Jace, actually. There's no way I can prevent that, really. I would have to robbery into something that deals with their hand or Jace. I can't hit Spell Stutter because they have 8 mana. I could hit Dreams of Steel and Oil, target them and make them discard. Maybe they have that in their deck even. 6, 7, 8. Alright, I'll try. I'll do it for 8. Oh, sorry. I'll do it for 6, I meant. There's an Excruciator. Anoint is quite bad against my deck. I don't know how they sideboarded, but a little surprised. Maybe they didn't bring in Dreams of Steel and Oil. Yeah. I don't know. They should have more sideboard cards to bring in, shouldn't they? Like, in game 1, they really only have Cut Down, which is bad, then Anoint is bad, and then Shoot the Sheriff is probably the 3rd worst card. It's like they should have brought in negates and stuff or something, you know, like, it's a little weird. I don't know the sideboard exactly out of my head, but it seems weird to have these cards in your deck. Can I actually just Doomsday combo kill my opponent here? Maybe, I could try. Yeah, I have exactly enough mana to activate Restless Reef and kill them. The problem, I guess, is if I put them to 6 cards, attack with Restless Reef, they're gonna go to 1 and then they can Jace Mill me. Potentially. They also have 3 unknowns now. That could be a removal for the Reef. I do have everywhere tokens, so I can activate the Reef. They have 26 cards in library. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go for that one. I will try to attack with this though. They found a kill spell. I'm glad I didn't go for the combo, that's for sure. So I'm just gonna Archfiend, play Fountainport, go. I thought I was going to win this game, but turns out I might just not. It was a pretty bad robbery, to be fair. What did I hit? Like 4 lands and 2 spells. Not the best. They have 6/10 mana, so they can double Restless Reef me right now, which is actually a pretty reasonable line of play, I would say. Like I'm on 23 cards, putting me to 15 cards. I'm also on 12 life. That would also deal me 8 damage. I can't really block the Archfiend. Yeah. Not perfect. I hope they play a little bit slower here. I mean, to be fair, if they go for it, it might give me a window of opportunity to sort of claw back if I draw a good spell. Alright, they go halfway. Just 1 Reef, okay. Yeah. I will not block. They're playing very carefully right now, taking a lot of time on their turn. Killing my Archfiend. Yeah. Cruelclaw's Heist. I guess I will do that. With Gift, maybe I can hit something nice. Maybe an Annex. I don't even know at this point what I can draw into. Oh, what they can give me. Of course I gave them. Of course they have lands in hand. Awesome. Ach yeah. Alright. Sure. They can blow up 1 Restless Reef, but they can also draw 3 cards again if they want to. And mill me down to 15 cards. Well. We got 1 win against... We had 1 match win against Dimir midrange, but besides that, it looks kind of rough for Golgari Ramp fans right now. Opponent has been playing well. I haven't really seen many mistakes here. Was this the game where I annexed, where I had to like exile the annex at some point? I was super behind, wasn't I? Alright, I have 1 forest in hand. Yeah, again, I feel like I'm getting a little bit unlucky with the deck as well, and opponents have been drawing well, but you know, that's just how it goes sometimes. No attacks with any reefs, okay. I do have 1 Demolition Field, but no, just 1. 15 cards now. They have the Annex. Okie dokie. I guess I'll sack an everywhere token. I will play it correctly though. I will tap it for mana first. At 6 life. I don't know. I'm gonna win this. I guess I need a second robbery. Yeah, but I don't have a second robbery, do I? I guess I have to Breach the Multiverse in my deck, though. No, there's the Breach. And both robberies are gone as well. Yep. Not good. Let's make a fish here. Yeah, I was still in their main phase. It was a little loose, but I wanted to sack the thing in their main phase so I could find Tear Asunder. But I didn't need to make a fish there, obviously. I assume they're just gonna make a 6/6 and that's their turn. Yeah. I'm at 3. I don't want to tap the... Don't want to tap my Demolition Field. I think they got me. They just have to activate. Yeah, both Restless Reef and I should be dead, right? I mean, yeah. They can put me to 4 cards and they could put me down to 2 cards in library. I don't have a way to mill them right now. And I don't have a robbery left in my deck. This is just GG. GG. They just need to sort of play it out and finish me off. Alright, good games. You got it. Alright, let's hope we can turn things around a little bit here towards the end of this video. Pretty good hand, can't complain. Mortuary. Yeah, I'm on the play. I think on the draw I might not have kept that, but on the play it seems fairly safe. Dark Slick Shores. Dark Slick Shores, very, very popular recently. For good reason. I'm also, I finished up an article for channelfireball.com on Dimir Midrange, a deep dive, a sideboard guide, everything you need to know about the deck for you guys to check out. Highly recommend, of course. I think it is the best deck in Standard. A little bit of an unusual mana base over there. Are we playing in Golgari, splashing for counterspells perhaps? Something like that. I guess we'll find out. Another Glissa. Demolition Field, Restless Cottage. What the heck is going on? Yeah. Kill this and then play a Glissa next turn and hope my opponent doesn't draw removal. I guess that's the plan. And then we have a little Glissa. Glissa trading. Or not. Drew a cottage. I'm gonna just blow that up. They're playing a 3-color deck. They might be kind of low on basics, to be honest. I mean, I assume they have at least one. I mean, they're playing Demolition Field themselves. They should have at least one basic in their deck. I'm very surprised to see Demolition Field in a 3-color deck. Yeah, the arena streets. They are just full of funky people that play funky, weird stuff. Okay, green mana. What is going on? Green pain mana while you have a Botanica Sanctum up. Okay, I see. Not too bad, not too bad. But Beanstalk did draw me a card, so it's not really card disadvantage. I think here I just play Glissa over Sheoldred. It's just funny, right? Like the 3-drop is better than the 4-drop. Now they're gonna blow up my cottage. Fair game. You got it. You got it. Probably should have just gotten a Swamp, to be fair. My deck is more black heavy than green heavy. I don't need 4 green Anyhow, it should not affect me, hopefully. Alright, let's get in there. I guess I could have played Sheoldred pre-combat. Probably should have, honestly. Because, yeah, I'm going to play Sheoldred there very likely no matter what. And this way I would have gained 2 more life. But yeah, it doesn't seem like life is the resource that is of importance in this game. Seems like card advantage is, board presence is, and I'm definitely leading on the board presence department. Anoint. They will likely activate the Beanstalk to block my Sheoldred. I can just anoint it. Yeah. And that should probably lead to a concession fairly quickly at this point. Jump the Glissa. Question, I guess, is do I go for a robbery X equals 3? Jump the Sheoldred? No. Yeah, that's better. Do I go for a small robbery here? Is that already enough? I think I'm not gonna go for a small robbery. I'm already ahead on board. They can need like 2 removal spells to catch back up. And if they actually have that and I like hit 3 lands with the robbery, that would be pretty bad for me. So I'd rather go for a big robbery and make a fish here. Okay, it's some sort of Overlord Planeswalker deck. Is there some sort of combo in here? Thinking, they say. Well, they can pick one of these cards. Kaito, Dancing Shadow. Whenever one or more creatures you control you may return one of them to its owner's hand. If you do, you may activate loyalty abilities of Kaito twice. Not a bad card by any means. I wonder like how it compares to the new Kaito. When still tanking. Like it always costs 4. The new Kaito sometimes costs 3. When this comes down, you draw a card. I think the new Kaito is just so much better, right? Like the new Kaito is a creature that attacks, deals damage that way. And the drawing card part comes while dealing damage and while being on 4 loyalty. And while also... is it at 8? Block Glissa, take 4, go 5, go 1. Take the Overlord. So make a fish. Just get him low on life. I'll leave him with the Wren and Realm Breaker. I hope I'm not gonna die to some combo kill. I don't think I will. But yeah, this Kaito does seem worse in conclusion. Go to 1. I don't really know what's going on over there. They just like the Wren. They play it with Kaito. And Avatar. They just... It sort of looks like Sultai Tradebinder. Multiple Frillbacks, multiple Wrens. I mean, the Wren is decent, I guess, against sweeper decks. Having a Planeswalker is nice, but not great against the aggro stuff. Not great against flyers out of the midrange. Yeah, alright. Glissa, we saw Glissa, we saw Avatar. The Baelmorg, we saw Frillback, we saw Wren, and some other Planeswalkers. So I guess I do want to have the Planeswalker removal. I guess Tear Asunder is fine. Cut-Down's probably bad. Gix's Command looks bad. Harvester looks bad. Virtue does kill the Glissa at least. Duress seems nice against the Planeswalkers. Aclazotz could be good. This guy shuts off Aclazotz with the +1. But besides that, probably good. Robbery is not too bad either, I think. Cover up is maybe fine. Maybe I'll cut the Sheoldred and add to Aclazotz a little bit more of a resilient threat. And what else? Maybe cut a Virtue for a Robbery. Maybe cover up is worse. They showed me a lot of manlands. They didn't really show me many creatures. Like cover up seems really bad against the Planeswalkers. Sheoldred seems kind of nice against Ren. Just having a body that attacks it. Could also play another discard spell. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. That's a card I can see being even decent in the late game if they're splashing for counter spells. It can clear the way for Aclazotz, it can clear the way for Robbery. Or can just be something that's decent on turn 2, disrupting the curve. And it's almost great. Double Beanstalk seems awesome in this matchup, but not good enough. I think I'm just gonna bottom a Swamp. We're on the draw. I think that's reasonable. The deck is mana hungry, but we do have 4 Overlords as well, so we can draw that or additional lands. Interesting. I think I'm gonna do that actually. Just in case I can take like a Duress or something important. Okay. Interesting. Don't really care about any of these, honestly. Like, I definitely don't care about the 2 Anoints. It is between Gix's Command and Tear Asunder, I suppose. All my removal X-outs, which makes the Gix's Command look really bad. I guess I'll just take the catch-all removal. Maybe I draw a Glissa and then, you know. Oh, why did I do that? Oops, that was a punt. I don't know. I just played my land a little too fast. I should have played a cottage there. It's not gonna punish me likely. Okay, opponent really does just play Trade Binder, Sultai card at this point. Tear Asunder, okay. Sure. Guess I'll take it again. Thunder Trap Trainer. Beautiful. Just look at it. Look at our hands. This is the Thunder Trap Trainer. How much damage is it gonna do me? 5, 6, 7. Are you taking any bets in the chat right now in the comment section? Just staring at each other's Anoints. There's a cottage. I guess why not blow it up? Reckon a Bank Buster would be a nice one here. Not legal in Standard though. If you hear some noises in the background, that is my roommates. They're talking right now in the kitchen. Okay. It's a little annoying. I mean, at the very least they're gonna get a 2 for 1 there. I guess I should have let him draw a card so I get an additional information. Okay, so the idea is to return Thunder Trap with the Kaito here. Is that the idea? This deck just is an absolute pile. I love it. 1 copy of Bandit's Talent. Genius. Genius at hand. Multiple copies of Demolition Field. Lots of basics. Absolute genius at hand here. Alright, well. Problematic cards, I guess the 2 Planeswalkers, 2 Wrens. There really isn't a whole lot. They took out all the Glissas, I guess. Interesting. Interesting. I guess the Virtue of Persistence could be annoying down the line. Through the Demolition Field, okay. I guess I'll take the Virtue. This game will drag out a little bit, I think. But I might just be able to run my opponent out of kill conditions. Theoretically, I should have floated mana there, but I was a little bit too lazy to do so. Alright. That was one of your better draws. I wonder why they... Oh, okay, makes sense, yeah. Alright, they 2-for-1 me again. Frillback, not the most threatening card here, though. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this Wren. Then we can anoint the Frillback and yeah, go from there. Is this Thunder Trap Trainer going the distance? 16 damage? Unlikely. So my opponent really only played blue for 2 Planeswalkers and the Thunder Trap. It's a little surprising. If I go Virtue on this, they probably... they might just kill their own guy. This is actually a somewhat threatening card, I'm just realizing. I kind of want to exile it, to be honest. Because if they get it with Gix's command, they can cast it for 6 mana to get 2 more cards. Just outvalue me. Alright, alright, alright. The Vinestalk is not bad. What a weird game. No, 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 I'm good. Don't need that. But yeah, not even splashing for blue counter magic is extra weird. I do like that they're slow rolling the Frillback and slow rolling the Vinestalk. I think that's smart. Oh, never mind. Not anymore. Yeah, you got it. They kill their own guy. Okay. Yeah. It's somewhat okay with me. I mean, I get to get rid of an Anoint, which could be relevant down the line. And the Frillback is also exiled, which means the Gix's command can't get it back. They still don't want to attack with the Vinestalk. No, they do. Yeah. At this point in the game where you have nothing else to do, it just makes sense to attack. This 1-2 is dealing the 8th point of damage now, which is kind of wild. This is just a game between 2 decks that are not really doing anything. No Fountainport this time, no engine for me. To be fair, my opponent does have Demolition Field, so the Fountainport would have been shut off anyways. Ugh. Alright, let's hope they just mill the hands. So they at least don't get a real card out of the deal. Yep, they did mill only the hands. I mean, I don't really have great draws either. What am I drawing to? I need to draw like Beanstalk into something. Well, that is a card. That is a card. I guess I can find Aclazotz. Oh, I can find this as well, right? Yeah, I think that's the pick. It has to be the pick, right? I know my opponent doesn't have any counter magic, so I can just do it for either 4 this turn, or I can do it for 6 next turn. And this game is going so slow, I think I'm just gonna do it for 6. This might have been the most unexciting game played in a long time. Like the most like sort of nothing happens over so many turns. This is like I've played hundreds of games of Standard recently. But this has not happened. Something like this has not happened in a very long time. Alright, we hit some good things. And a Beanstalk. Okay, now we're cooking. Let's start with Duress, see what's up. Okay, they have another Frillback. Interesting. Take the Gix's command. 6, 7. I think I'm just gonna go with this, honestly. That's pretty good. I hope I hit. I mean, I do have a lot of hits in my deck, right? Look at the top 4. Yeah. Nissa taking another Beanstalk. More card advantage is good. And another Robbery. Yeah, let's go. Alright. This game should be done. They can anoint my 1-2. That's fine. The Thunder Trap can deal the 11th point of damage this game by itself. Amazing. Amazing stuff. What a story. 12 damage, sorry. Why did I say 11? 12. Oh, okay, that was a good draw. Did I make a little bit of comeback here? Tear Asunder. I don't think they will make a comeback, to be honest with you. But no, that's not too bad. I don't have an answer for that Kaito. Alright, we'll see. Maybe I shouldn't speak too soon. But I didn't play the Kaito. Interesting. How much mana? 5? Okay. So I can't really play Aclazotz into the Tear Asunder, obviously. So if I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna Gix's command here after drawing with the Beanstalks and wipe the board and make my order into. Well, there's the answer to Kaido. Make this order into a 3/3 that might actually already get them to cast the Tear Asunder, who knows? And yeah, this game is done. They will probably play Frillback and Kaito next turn, blow up Beanstalk, but my hand is cracked. Yeah, they will use the Tear Asunder. Sounds good. Kaito can just come down and make an emblem or surveil. They will make an emblem.
Just try to keep up.
And play Frillback, gain life. Drew a Cottage, so has a mana land there. I have 4, 6, 10 mana, 11 mana, so I can go Aclazotz, Tear Asunder the Kaito, not Aclazotz. And pass. I guess I can do this as well. I'm at 10, they have 1 Cottage. I guess I can blow this Aclazotz up and then Demolition Field the Temple. I think I'm just gonna block this, honestly. I have a second one. Sure, they can Demolition Field me now. Oh, they don't even want to. Well, then I'm just gonna get it back, I guess. I guess they can do it now. Sure. Fine. Don't really mind. Okay, let's start with a Cruelclaw's Heist. Gifting a card. That's fine. I'm not gonna play another Beanstalk, I think. I don't want to deck myself. I'm at 24 cards. Yeah, it probably would be fine if I do play that. I would probably be able to win before, but Really no rush here. So just get the Aclazotz for free back. I'm just gonna speed things up. I feel like at this point I just really... There's no way I lose this game. I mean, playing the Frillback there may be a little too aggressive. I can attack the land, I guess, there. What? Yep, you got it. Alright. We escaped with a victory against a Sultai Brew. Yeah. Kinda what I felt about the deck during testing as well was reaffirmed in these matches. I would say I ran a little bit unlucky perhaps, missing like a color on turn 3 for Hauntwoods one time, and this and that, and the opponents had it all, but you are playing this sort of very reactive control deck, which is great against specifically creatures. But then when things like Planeswalkers, Jaces, and Doomsday Excruciators, all of that come into play, things can get more dicey. And the card velocity, the card draw is not that great. Up the Beanstalk, very powerful card, but it's sort of like missing another effect like Leyline Binding, where that would be a cheap card that also triggers Beanstalk to give you extra cards. I think it's a little too low on that. And while the deck has powerful draws when it goes Duress into Beanstalk into Overlord, or go for the throat into Glissa and so on, just play some of the best cards in Standard, some of the best interaction. It does also have some of those draws where you just have like Duress, Anoint, free lands, and I don't know, a Virtue of Persistence in your hand, and you don't draw that card advantage like we did in like 12 turns this game. We didn't really draw anything. I think we were only really able to win this because my opponent's deck was not very good. Otherwise, I think most other standard decks would have beaten us with various engine pieces. May it be Questing Druid, Urabra's Forge out of Gruul, may it be some sort of card advantage out of Dimir, or Golgari with 3-2 draw a card, Mosswood Red Knight. So yeah, while we won this match and this game, I think against many other decks in the format, we would have specifically lost this last game. And yeah, that's sort of the criticism about the deck. It's a little too reactive. It's a little too narrow focused on what it can beat, and the card advantage engine is not that impressive. All right, I hope you learned something there. I hope I could showcase to you what this deck is all about, and I hope to see you next time. Take care, guys.